at 9:01 on my phone. And everyone's here except for Maureen. And I would like to introduce Rebecca. To anyone who didn't meet her, Ben. She's an interested prospective board member. So she's joining us as a member of the public. Okay, and the approval of the agenda. Is there any comment?
Agenda looks good.
Way to go, Brittany.
Thanks very much.
Okay, approval of the previous minutes, month's minutes. Are there any corrections to the minutes for February?
I have some things for people to consider and then potential change.
All right.
Can we, in the minutes, we don't have any notice of who moved to approve the minutes, who seconded, and then the board unanimously approved.
Oh,
So that's something that does need to be in there.
okay.
Do you need a reminder of who did what action, or do you have that and you just pull it and do it later?
I don't think I have that. Yeah, I didn't.
Okay, so
I might have it, but my notes are gone.
I have it, so I moved, let the minutes be approved, Maureen seconded, and then everyone.
Oh, that, I got, oh, I see.
But you received the minutes.
Oh, the minutes isn't even.
And yeah, the
shown
minutes
there.
isn't
Okay.
acknowledged in here, which we need to acknowledge the
So-
approval of the minutes.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So, I'm sorry, I see.
A should be that they were
So
approved
A should be that.
with the motion.
Yeah. Moved, seconded, and board unanimous.
Okay, so you moved, right?
Yes. Maureen seconded.
Thank you. And then it's all approved?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
And then
Oh,
the
you might
next.
mention, Cindy, that, pardon me, I'm sorry, that Kristen's still not here, that she's also absent.
Okay, thank you.
That's good. And so that would probably be the A. And then the B would be at what you have listed as A right now, but I think something that's missing that helps with the flow and understanding how it all came about is, can you just, in front of Maureen moved, can you just put that Karen suggested and Maureen moved to remove from the agenda, because it really became an agenda item,
Okay.
saying, hey, can we just remove the discuss the items from the packet updates, because we end up doing that anyway
Okay.
when we're getting to the topic, whatever it is, and whatever order of business we go.
Karen Kay suggested.
Okay.
And so we suggested to remove the discuss the items from the packet updates. Maureen moved to remove it, Candy seconded it, and then I would ask if we could, in 6A3, can we remove the word small collection, because they do have a decent collection in the museum, but
Okay,
of the duplicate of what we have is kind of small. So in other words,
okay,
I don't want to mislead them.
yeah.
And then on the 6B, can we add at the end of that, however, a celebration was scheduled by a PEO member to occur at Callahan House? Because Candy did bring that up. So none of the attending members signed up for membership for the board. However, a celebration was scheduled by a PEO member to Callahan House as a result of.
Which celebration are we referring to? Or you just
I
talking
don't know,
about
it was a, which
meeting?
one was it? It was a, for somebody's, was it a
What are you talking about?
Somebody at the PEO Founders Day
Somebody
meeting,
yeah, somebody at the
at the Founders Day.
Right, yeah.
had decided to go ahead and book something for a special occasion, celebration of some sort here.
I'm not sure. We had a
It
memorial
was what-
that was someone that was involved, but I don't know if that was.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
They're
I don't
doing
know that
a-
that's necessary to include
Well,
that.
we have a PEO group that's moving to have their regular club meetings here.
No, that's not it, but
Okay.
can you mention?
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. It just was a coincidence that she happened to mention that.
Oh, I thought it was, I thought it was born out of that in part because there were questions about what's the price of booking an event, but maybe I'm wrong.
She may have been thinking about it all along, and then this just brought it to the forefront, and she asked more questions. Or I don't know that
It's
for a fact, but
That's fine.
Okay, so leave that out.
Okay. And then, for your annual report on the second page, rather than approval, it's signature, because the approval was done by the board. But the next step being signature by former chairperson.
Where is that?
E.
What item?
E1.
E1, okay.
Or E, the first.
So instead of approved, just signed.
Yeah, because the approval happened by the board, then it was just signed by the former chairperson.
Fine, okay.
Do you want to include the word under piano search, Brittany reported that piano search committee, the piano search committee. And then under dates for open houses, I think the very first one, we need to identify it as the spring open house, just as we did the summer open house.
Okay.
Because, being consistent with what we're trying to do annually, have a spring, summer, fall, winter open house. This identifies that. Art walk is one word, by the way, too. So,
hyphen, isn't it?
I think it's all one word. But double check me, but it's not two words.
What was the other thing in C for the dates of open house? The artwork is one word, but what was the first thing you mentioned?
In the first item, where it says the next open house, it's the spring.
Oh, the spring open house.
Wise
That's what we want, yeah.
Yeah, spring open house. And art walk is all one word, but then it capitalizes the W in the middle of the word, so.
There's a lights on.
But anyway, I'm just trying to be consistent so that
he's
we
getting-
don't get anyone confused about
Doesn't have to hold on.
that art walk is
Yeah.
all one word, but the W happens to be capitalized in the middle. And then in E, under earliest window balances and drapes. So I suggested that the balances covering the leaded glass windows, so not just the one here in the dining room, but all of the leaded glass windows. So Karen Cruz suggested that the balances covering the leaded glass windows in the Callahan House, and then just take out dining room, remove dining room, because it's all of them that I was pointing to and saying, remove all the balances.
Oh, yeah, because I didn't think about the,
It's
That
all,
one too.
even
Yep.
upstairs, it's
oh,
everywhere.
okay.
And it was just to, provide for, more view of the leaded glass.
Okay.
Okay, in items from the staff, under A, Kristen, we need to remove the words have planned to apply for a board position. That's incorrect. Kristen previously served, 2 consecutive terms on the board from
Okay.
2013 through 15 and then 2016 through 18, so that needs to be corrected.
2000 what? and what?
13 through
Okay.
15, and then 2016 through 18.
I guess that should be under items from the board. It's under items from staff, but it was Candy's report, so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, I think that probably was an item for
Under
the
the
board
board.
thing, but yeah, for some reason it's there.
I thought she had talked to about joining again, and before, maybe she got so sick or something. Okay, no, I misheard.
No, she
Okay.
wasn't intending to come back. She did a really nice job during her two terms. And then,
And under B, still under items from staff, was I supposed to send a card to?
Oh, I did that.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I
Oh.
should have made that correction.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I sent it correctly.
Okay.
I should have recorded for it.
Did a good job. It's hard to get all.
oh, yes.
It is
Yeah.
great.
This is
Yeah.
excellent.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Cindy, it's excellent work, so.
Oh, yeah, no,
don't-
thanks.
This is,
And it's
this is
all
right.
it's
Don't
it's
at all.
excellent work.
I don't at all.
Then my only last request would be like, let's remove the acronym out of the adjournment, just the meeting adjourned.
It's used
Chab.
for
I know,
all other boards and commissions, but
But this is the meeting, the meeting adjourned. The meeting adjourned.
It's listed on the agenda as,
I know.
I get where you got that.
Yeah, oh, yeah, oh, my, yeah, but just,
Yeah, I don't care.
I say, just take CHAB out.
Okay.
Can we have a motion to approve the minutes as corrected?
So move.
Second.
Candy and Karen.
Thanks.
All those in favor? Earl? Opposed? Okay, on to the next item.
Before we get
Oh,
started, I just want to
okay.
let you know, there's an emergency situation at 8th and Kaufman up the street. So the Memorial Building is locked their doors right now.
Oh.
And it is not about down here, but just so you know, they locked the door.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
No, it's
Thank you, Ben.
no real reason to do so right here, but
But why not?
no one else is reading it
Right.
normally, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
they'll let me know if it changes.
Okay, thank you, Ben, appreciate it. Okay, the fourth item is public invited to be heard. We actually have a public. Would you like to say anything about how'd you hear about us and what are your interests?
Yeah, I'm a Colorado native. I grew up in Boulder, and just came back to the area last February because my son and daughter-in-law had a daughter, so I'm here to be with my granddaughter. And I was living in France, so I was 12 years in France and a year in Australia. So it's been kind of, it's like a lot of love and a total culture shock. So I've been like rebuilding community and thinking about what's really important to me and what I'm really interested in, and found you guys pretty fast actually in that search. So I've been to a couple open houses, brought my mom,
Oh, nice.
and my niece, and yeah, just been. I'm an artist. I was an artist in France, site-specific work, interior design, and yeah, I'm just
Fun.
interested in the history, interested in Longmont, interested in meeting people and meeting
Right.
other things and
Great.
contributing if I have something to contribute. Which is what I'm here to find out.
Right, exactly.
So good
Yes.
to have you.
Thank you.
We're glad you came.
Thanks.
We saw the board recruitment from the constant contact email.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Excited
wonderful.
about
I'm
it.
so glad to hear that.
Yesterday,
That's excellent.
yesterday morning I got it and then I called you.
Yeah, I'm
That's
so glad.
nice.
It worked out great. Good job. Could you give Cindy your full name?
Yeah.
So it's Rebecca, Rebekah West.
Okay.
And in Boulder, I helped start the dairy. I was the director of Space for Dance. I was the director at CU of the Atlas Center for Arts, Media, and Performance. And then I went on world travel, so,
Yeah, good for
Wow.
you.
Yeah.
Wow.
so I've done a lot of that.
Yeah, yes.
Brittany's side,
Interesting.
someone's.
That's great. Thank you for coming.
Yeah,
Glad to
thanks so
have you.
much.
You're resident of Longmont.
I am.
Yeah, that is important. That is an
I
important
know a
one.
lot of really great people that are just on the barrier outside and
Uh-huh.
they can't
That happened to me.
apply because they're just outside the city limits.
Right.
5 minutes.
Yeah, perfect, that's great. Okay, anybody have any questions?
All clear.
Carry on. All clear? Okay, great.
Good.
Where's-
Short-lived.
Thanks, Ben.
We're the kind we like.
Yeah,
Yes.
that is right. Okay, we're moving on to old business. The digitized scrapbook. Who's talking about? Oh, you're talking.
Yes, I don't have any updates from the last meeting, just as a refresher, or the original scrapbook, well,
One of
the remake, the early years, remake
early
from the
years.
70s, I believe, has been digitized, and that's as far as we are right now. I need to go through the process of the rest of that, and then we'll bring everybody on board, but I'm kind of putting that on a back burner until we get the video underway. Just like one large project
To
at a
juggle
time
one
for the
thing,
moment,
right?
yeah, but I think we want to focus on the video, so I'm kind of
Okay.
scrapbooks on the back burner, but it's
Good
good
to-
for next steps.
Yeah, I was gonna say that
Yeah,
it's there.
just
and
kind of
get to it.
prioritizing
Yeah.
that, so,
Super.
yeah, so no real update from last month.
Which leads us right to item number, it should be B, but it's C, but that's okay. Updated videos. Oh, well.
Yeah, so, we, as is in the back of the packet, we have the request for quote ready. I'm still waiting on kind of final input from Pam Roding, who we were working with in the city, to kind of guide this process. She had been out of town and just got back last Friday, so I imagine she's catching up. But yeah, just kind of waiting for some final input from her and from you all. And then we've got 3 vendors lined up to send this to, which is Black Sparrow Media, which we've heard from previously, Longmont Public Media, and then Xseed, which is spelled Xseed, Design and Production. And Longmont Public Media and Xseed Design and Production were recommended by members of the city marketing team as a couple other folks to reach out to, because we need to get 3 quotes.
Competitive.
Yeah, so, and it's actually a little less involved of a process, because the budget for this is under 10K. We basically can just request 3 quotes simply from these companies, as long as we're providing them all the same information. So this, the very back page of the packet is a compilation of the information that we talked about, what we want to see from the video, what information we're going to provide, what questions we have for these groups. So yeah, then I just need input from you all, ideally now at this meeting, so that we can move forward
Who's the
with setting
person
that
you
out.
said you're working with?
Pam Roding, Roeding.
Okay, and
She's, I don't know her exact title, but
Just
she's,
procurement
there
specialist.
you go.
Wow.
You'll say- you'll say-
Wow, yeah, city procurement please.
Yeah. So she's just been kind of helping guide me through the process, so I was waiting on final input from her, but she was gone before this was due, so this is what I have so far.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course.
This all looks wonderful.
It
You're
does.
Putting it together, it
Yes.
seems like it's spot on. What is the link, the Callahan House and Garden City of Longmont overview of the materials provided?
It's the main page.
Just on the website.
Yeah, so because we have historic information on there, the Callahan automobile, it's the website link basically for all of the information about what we do and.
Okay, I have not cross-checked that with the information that once we updated and did the restoration
Oh,
preservation and hand out the docent's guide and the self-guided tour.
Okay.
Can I take a peek at that?
Please,
and
yeah.
email you if I see anything that's a discrepancy?
Yeah, that'd be great.
I haven't looked at that.
I hadn't thought of that. I assumed that
I
was right, but yeah,
I have
if
no idea what's on
if
there.
you could, that would be great.
I don't even know who put it on there, so
Yeah.
yeah, I'll check.
I think it's a pretty general overview, but if you really want to do that.
But a
that'd be
cross
great.
check would be a good idea.
Yeah,
Just to make sure we don't have some discrepancies
Yeah.
in
that'd be
information.
great.
Good idea. Thanks, Karen. Anything else on the video? I don't have anything. It all looks
It
great
looks
to me.
wonderful. Thank you.
Nice to have it all compiled like
Yes.
Yes.
So
That's
that,
wonderful.
as far as you all are concerned, that's ready to move forward then? Okay, we'll see if we get any final notes from Pam, but I imagine it wouldn't be any major changes, hopefully.
Alright.
It's my first time doing this process, so.
Exactly.
Okay, so
Wow,
then,
we're-
yeah, once I hear back from her, then we'll send that out to those groups and see what we get back and go from there.
Great, sounds perfect.
Cool.
Thanks, Brittany.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, the club affair. Candy, that would be you.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I don't have the date that we met. But anyway, we met here,
Yeah,
and it was
it was on a Thursday.
So
It was probably right afterwards.
15th.
Let's see.
15th,
I think I
yeah.
have
Okay.
it written down now,
Which
August
is the
17th.
date that they met,
Did y'all
the
met?
committee,
Yeah.
10:30 to 12:30?
February 15th.
It was the 15th here.
Oh,
And it
August
was
was the date
Cindy
for
and
the
Karen and
events,
I
yeah.
Yeah.
that were here. And what we did was we took the old printout of the list of clubs that we had used at the last club affair and kind of divvied those up as to the three of us. And the idea was to check with that club and that contact person that was on that list to see if they were still the contact person, and if not, who would be a good contact person. But then as we did get all the way through it and got it all divided up and realized that before we actually reach out to these clubs and these groups, we need to have the club selection criteria in place. That would kind of help us to narrow our list down and categorize it, and that we shouldn't just jump in and ask anybody and everybody if we don't have that criteria in place. So that's where we finished that day.
So is Club Affair, are you thinking that it is more for the focus of attracting clubs to the house?
Twofold purpose.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't it more of also a community open to any and all clubs to be able to showcase their club to the public at an open house and be able to just use this venue for that purpose? It's a service to the clubs in the community, in a way, providing the venue so that they can speak to the public. But then it's also an opportunity for us to share with those who are interested in knowing more about the Callahan House and the use of this venue for the club meeting.
Right, but I don't think we should put out a blanket invitation to clubs that, I mean, the club criteria selection has been mentioned previously.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So that says to me that we're looking at clubs and saying, yes, you qualify to meet here, so to speak, or you have the qualifications to be a part of this group. Then we shouldn't extend an invitation to a group that doesn't fall into that criteria.
Especially if there's any space limitations. I mean, my concern was how many clubs are we gonna get?
Well,
And the
that's,
ones that we had been asked to be part of that, it seems like they should be part of the twofold.
well, yes, and that speaks to the fact that there are a lot of groups that would help narrow that down.
Right. So the criteria would be important.
Well, I can see where it would be important and helpful for any club that is looking for or considering a change of venue. But for a club that meets regularly in town and they already have their venue and they have no interest in changing venue, but they want to provide information to the public
Right.
about their club.
Sure.
I thought that was really the main
Well,
drive
but it's
for
all
this.
folded
It
into,
is, it is.
I mean, there's like 3 or 4 purposes. 1, to expose clubs to the fact that they can come meet here. 2, to help the clubs increase their membership and put their club out there to the public, so to speak. And 3, fundraiser for us. So with all that said, I think because we have said we want to come up with club criteria, I think we need to look at that first and foremost, and then base our list of clubs on that.
So you're only going to reach out to clubs that would meet the criteria that we would consider for a club that's interested in using the house?
Well, in that invitation, it says, these are the benefits for you. On that day, you can, promote your club but please know that there's also an opportunity to meet here at the place, at the Callahan House and so on. So it's made clear, so if somebody, well, if we know who they are and they meet the criteria already, as we think the criteria is, I guess that's fine, but, if it's not someone who meets the criteria that we think meets the criteria, wants to show their stuff, there isn't a separate invitation for that. There's one invitation that says, by the way, you can use the Callahan House as a place for your meeting.
What about changing the wording a little bit that says clubs that meet the, clubs that meet the criteria may also be able to use Callahan House as a meeting place. And the only reason, I hear what you're saying and it makes sense, the only reason I'm thinking is because you were talking about inviting like artists and dance groups and things like that to promote the event and make that more attractive for the public to attend. But those aren't necessarily people that are gonna meet in the house, or maybe that we would want to just due to the nature of their activities might be a little aggressive for the space.
Or the number of people in their group. The criteria, we can't look at that criteria as being so limited. We have to look at it as positive, okay? So that the criteria says anybody and everybody basically is welcome.
Yeah.
But again, you can't come and set up your yoga mats in the music room, or you can't make it clear. Okay, maybe that's a bad example. You can't come do your ballet or whatever, But so that criteria is broad enough. We have to have that in place first, I think, before we start inviting clubs to become a part of our meeting place. Right. But that's all I'm
But I
saying.
think, like what Brittany was saying, I don't know that it's, okay. So we are not excluding any club that wants to have a presentation at Club Affair for their club, right?
We're not excluding them. I think where we
To
were going
to
with
have
that
them
was-
at the Club Affair event.
Correct.
That's it.
Yeah, we're not
Just
excluding
club.
them.
We're talking about Club Affair event.
Right.
For them to be able to come.
Right, but we have to have a starting point to know how many we can invite
Correct.
and be selective about our invitations, because we can't invite every club.
There's not
Yeah.
room in the house for everybody. That list is huge. It's 2 pages.
I guess the question is how quickly can the club selection criteria be in place, and does that fit with the timeline of your plans needing to move forward with the club affair? So I think, this can be in place in a timely manner.
If we're gonna do a club
fits.
criteria, we've gotta have that in place.
Oh,
Before we say, this is club fair.
When is the ideal time to send out an invitation for that August event?
Probably not till June-ish.
That's why I would think June-ish.
You're going to invite clubs in June to have a table set up in August?
Well, they need to have a chance to
June.
receive the invitation, consider it at meetings or whatever. So
Well,
that's
something-
July, and then the next month is August, so.
Something else to consider is a lot of clubs don't meet during the summer.
Right.
So we may have to send it out even earlier.
Do you think
That's
it needs to go
why I
out
was-
earlier?
Yes.
So earlier than June, you think?
May?
May might be,
They might be even.
It's-
I would say
on
as
town.
soon as
It's gonna be
possible,
tough.
as soon as
we're not gonna make it
it's
by
ready.
April, but.
That's not gonna happen.
So shoot
So
for,
that means the
May.
criteria needs to be in place before
We need
that.
it.
so the criteria needs to be done by sometime
By
next
next
month,
meeting.
so that the
Yeah.
invitation is ready to go out.
So Karen, you're the one that brought up the criteria. So in your head, you've got some idea about what that criteria looks like. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So I think it's time to share it with the rest of us, either at a separate meeting or whatever. But I just feel like if we're gonna move forward and invite clubs to be a part of our group, or whatever it looks like, if we're going to contact clubs to be part of our fundraiser or expose their information to the public or whatever, we need to know what that criteria is.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's all we wanna do.
When you gave the three reasons to have Club Affair, I saw it in a different order, and here's why. Going based off of why Club Affair was held in the past, which was have a venue for clubs in the community to showcase their club and potentially gain new members. And it was a fundraiser for the house. Those were the reasons, those were only two reasons Club Affair was done in the past years.
The first reason was
Fundraiser. Those were the only two reasons though. It was not a matter of recruiting clubs to use this venue as a regular meeting place. You see.
I think that was always,
But that was never part of that. You see, it was just more of a community service and outreach to support community clubs, or clubs within the community, to provide them an opportunity to reach out to all of the members of the community to try and explain what their club is about, when they meet, why they meet, what they do. And it was not so that they would be focused on having their meetings here at the house on a regular basis.
Have you, those are all good
So they're
reasons
all
for the
good
event.
reasons, but what I'm trying to
If
say
we
is
can get
you
this
can
in
continue
place.
to, yes, we'll get going on that, and if you'll give me a second. At the last meeting, we did say, okay, I'll lead that, and at the next meeting, we're going to schedule a task meeting. So at the next board meeting, we were going to look at calendar and schedule a task meeting. So we're on it, we're doing that, means
Right.
today, we're scheduling a task meeting. But I don't know that you wanna hold off on continuing your work with Club Affair.
no.
Oh,
While
no,
But I'm just
we're working
saying,
we're
we
not
need to speed that up.
but we didn't contact anybody.
Right.
We're
But
just
you're not
getting,
gonna-
we're set up to do so.
But you're not gonna limit invitation to this event, right? I mean, we're not excluding any club that's in the community. We're inviting any and all clubs in the community to have their table here at the Club Affair to share with the community, right?
We can't invite any and all because we are limited in space.
Yes.
So therefore, we have to have a criteria to start with, so it'll help us narrow down the list that we have.
So you're saying we're limited in space. The event is supposed to happen in August. Isn't it indoor and outdoor?
Well, I suggested that. It never has been outdoor.
So
I suggested that possibility.
So are we really that limited in
I
space?
don't know.
Okay.
I don't
Well,
know.
you know, if-
I just wanna make sure that we're
if
not.
that's-
We're not being exclusive.
If
Okay,
that's
I was
the
like,
case-
we can't exclude
No, we're
anyone.
not being exclusive.
If that's the
We're
case, then our only
prioritizing.
criteria would be if there's room,
First
based
come,
on
first
when you,
served.
right.
Okay.
And maybe it becomes an announcement to the community then, not just an invitation we send out to certain people.
Yeah,
It's
that's
gonna be in the
possible.
brochure, and the
Yeah.
thought behind that is more of inviting the public to come to the event.
Right.
But there's
Exactly.
there's
Well,
a little
I mean,
fancy
like one
for in the
Early
summer.
on would be to
And
tell people there's the opportunity to promote your club.
yes. And again, like any event here, especially when it's a reservation event, reservations are limited. So you can put the invitation out there
Right.
and just state that space is limited, and
That's how it's been in the past.
And then you don't have to worry that you won't be able to take everyone
Yeah,
under the sun, because it's already known that space is limited. You may, or depending on when you're getting your, or the club is getting their request in to be part of this event, they may or may not be able to, because the space is already taken by that time.
Well, there was always a cutoff date, and you had to put a down payment or you had to deposit down, so to speak, for your table. Yeah. So anyway, but I guess we never had that criteria in place before, so to recognize the fact that you wanted that in place, that was why we held off, backed up,
Action.
on that needed to
Okay.
be in place first.
Okay, but it's only for clubs that would be interested in holding their regular meetings here, that club criteria, that's all.
Right, so that, I
Right.
mean, they have to know that
Or they don't. Maybe
Upfront.
maybe they don't want to be meeting here. That's
Maybe
they
not,
just-
maybe not, but
they've got
we need
their
to put
venue
that out.
fine and they just want to recruit more members of the community. That's the point of the
But, you know,
community service.
it might
outreach.
come up, because how could we not
If-
talk about it when they're here?
Yes,
Right.
and that's exactly it. By that time, of course, that would be in place and done. If they were hosting, at the event, they're like,
Yeah.
yes, I would love to, we would really be interested in having our meetings here going forward. And then at that point, absolutely, that criteria is done. It is, and then
Yes.
it's okay, here are the criteria and, here's the application, go ahead and apply.
Yeah.
And we know that, what that criteria is, and just because they're applying for or asking to meet here doesn't guarantee them that they will.
And-
That's what the criteria is meant
And
for.
then the announcement goes out to everybody, and people might wonder, well, what's the connection between Callahan House and clubs in the community? It's about promoting, community outreach and, the whatever it is, the organizations forming in the community to have a voice and all that stuff, it would be promoting that.
Okay, we're kind of getting off track here a little bit and getting too deep into the weeds. Can we table what we're talking about, the club affair itself, and come back to it if we need to revisit? And we can jump down to club selection criteria if you want, or we can finish going through the agenda, but we're stirring up the mud.
Well, perhaps might I suggest that Club Affair continue to have a task meeting based on what.
Yeah, we are. Oh, absolutely we are. We have not
Okay, I just
stopped.
didn't know.
No.
But as long as that continues and then it's ready for report at next board meeting, sounds
Yeah,
good.
we're
because
still working on
Yeah, that was
Very much.
what
Yeah.
I was going to throw out here was a couple of dates that
Okay.
might work.
Oh, great.
Next Wednesday, here in the house, if that's available, or Thursday.
Clubs are here on Wednesdays, so Thursday would probably, well, we'll have to see, I'm out of office on Thursday, so we'll have to see if somebody could let you in by chance,
Well, or we could look at the last week in March. Spring break. 27th or 28th?
27th is clubs, it's a Wednesday,
Right, okay.
28th,
28th.
is good, 28th is good.
28th, 10 o'clock? Does that work? Oh, you've got your
I
10:30?
I'll say till 10:30.
10:30,
Yeah, I've got
10:30?
too.
or is the afternoon better?
Nope, 10:30 is fine.
Okay.
It doesn't work for me.
No?
That
Okay.
date, that Thursday?
No, later in the day would work.
I can do later
The whole
today.
day is open as far as the house
1 o'clock.
goes,
Well, you
so.
know what? Maybe I can move this. I'll try to move this.
Well, if later in the days,
Yeah,
Okay,
later
it's open
day
for
works.
everybody.
If that's
Okay.
good with me,
What
it's
time?
1 o'clock.
Cindy, it's 1 o'clock work,
1 o'clock works, yeah.
Okay, 1 o'clock,
couple hours.
yeah, 1 to 3.
Sounds
If you'll
good.
be sending an invite right away, then I won't put it in my calendar now.
Sure, I can send it.
Okay.
Okay. And that was open to anybody that wanted to attend, I believe. Or was it
It's
just?
a committee meeting.
Yeah,
right?
it's
just
so Maureen,
Yeah.
Committee task meeting.
So
two of
anybody,
us, and Cindy.
Uh-huh.
I'll
So
send it to
anybody,
everybody.
actually.
Yeah,
I'll
anybody
send it to
can come.
everybody.
We'll be at the house at 10:30, or at 1 o'clock, I'm sorry, on the Thursday at the 28th.
Okay.
I don't reiterate, I'll show up at 10:30, you know how I am. Okay, is that it on the club affair, please? Yes?
Please.
Okay, annual report. Did that get signed?
Yes, Anne signed
Everybody
it,
signed
and decided to,
Jeff had the idea, and requested that we run it through our communication folks, just to take a look at form and format and, see if there's any suggestions they may have. I don't think that we won't change any of the information, certainly we're not having to come back here.
Right.
Jeff,
Friesner,
Friesner?
and he is,
he's the director for recreation and culture.
okay.
And so, we pushed back one meeting, right? for the-
Well, it's gonna be
plan.
April
Pushed back,
9th.
Right, April 9th.
Yeah.
To submit it. And that was it. They may not have anything to say on it. and I think it's a really good idea. Next time we'll put it in the pre-process and we'll do post. And obviously, we're not gonna change anything because then it's a signed document by you guys. So we're not gonna alter anything. Unless they have some really good suggestions, then we'll come back.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
any kind of change whatsoever, if they're suggesting it, does need to come back to us, because it's our communication as this board to city council. And it doesn't, and yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, if there's anything concerning actual content or anything like that, we'll
Let us know.
So
Okay.
which specific group will review?
city communication team.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll put that as a part of the process. I think it would be a good idea, but we'll do that, you know, in January or February as we're wrapping it up.
So it's scheduled for the April 9th council meeting. It's an informational item only, so they're not gonna discuss it at the meeting. So no one is asked to be present. Of course, if anybody wants to attend, those are always open to the public, so. But, yeah, we're not necessarily planning to have Ann or I attend that meeting, but if anybody wants to, certainly can.
Perfect. Thank you. The house inventory, which I completely forgot about.
Oh, that's okay. It was a
What did
very
I say?
quick kind of follow-up that day, but yeah, that's basically complete. We have a couple things that Betsy and Jacqueline are still working on, you know, Butler's Pantry. We're kind of doing an updated process for that so that it's easier to find things moving forward and whatnot. You know, listing things by which cabinet it's in instead of just kind of an open free-for-all. But basically the inventory is complete, so thank you all so much for your help with that. That's huge.
Yes, it's huge.
And then we'll plan that again for another 2 years. And well, found the missing painting by
No.
Anne Youth. Well, okay, so this is a funny story.
Missing some.
Well, it wasn't really missing.
A long time.
And found is a strong
Okay,
word.
so misplaced.
So previously we weren't sure, overlooked,
A
yeah.
donated photo picture.
Yeah, we weren't sure of the exact name of the artist until Karen found it out from EDK week before last. And then I put the name in my list to look for it when I had time. And then about a week later, came up in my calendar, and I was like, "Oh, that name." I was like, "Okay, that's not." Anyway, it's hanging in the office. And it's been there.
So what's the name?
So it's M. Booth. I don't know. Is it Maureen Booth? Yeah, Beuthe.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was here the whole time. We just didn't know the specific artist's
We
name
didn't know enough about this
until
photo
recently,
picture.
so we didn't know that it was that one.
We didn't know we had it.
Yeah. So
Hiding
anyway.
in plain sight.
Yes.
Well, you know, you're forgiven because there wasn't much description and it was
No.
a different artist.
Yeah.
It's donated by somebody's mother.
Yeah.
I'm like,
So
okay.
anyway,
B-U-E.
Beuthe, I think.
Okay.
But anyhow, it's been in office the whole time, so.
That's really funny. That's really funny. I love it.
So,
That's great.
Anyhow, I mean, which is good news because we were concerned about it, but
Yes.
turns out no
Yeah, where'd it go?
cause for
Where'd it
concern. So anyhow,
So along those lines,
yeah.
there was a garage sale. I'm sure you've run across
The
it.
Callahan should have that.
Yeah. So some of the stuff that was in the basement at
Yeah.
some point in time was sold in a garage sale here.
Oh,
How was it? A friend of mine helped me mention that they bought, I know what it was. Rick Jennings says, we bought a mangle. There was the ironing mangle
Oh,
thing
yeah.
that comes down to iron sheets and
Oh,
stuff.
right.
That was part of the garage sale
Oh.
that came out of this
Wow.
house.
Well,
Oh,
And so I'd forgotten all about that.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
how we would
Interesting.
keep that moving forward, but at least
Oh.
somebody's appreciating it, I
Yes.
guess. So yeah, so I'll remove this for next month, but thank you everybody for doing that, and then we'll
Thank you.
follow up again, and it looks like we've been doing them every 2 years. So.
Perfect.
Would you be able to provide everyone
The
with
final
the
list? Yeah. That'll be a little while out before it actually gets
Yeah.
all the information put in and digitized, but yes.
That's a big spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to the piano search.
Well, I don't know if there's any updates. I don't think there's anything
No,
there.
even when I see something that's a possibility, I think you said that, what's his name again?
Fred Goheen.
Fred is looking on
He's
there too.
Yeah, he's keeping an
Marketplace.
eye out for
Yeah.
us. And he's looking for one, as we've since learned, that is already fully restored is the direction that we want to go in.
Right, he's looking for
yeah.
one. I thought you said
So,
looking at one.
Looking for one, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if we should keep this as an agenda item or just bring it up as potential options come
I
up.
think
It
we bring
seems
it up
like.
as potential
Yeah,
items.
I think
Okay.
so.
Because it's not a critical issue.
Yeah.
It's not something
If
we're
it
actively
happens,
really
yeah.
pursuing, it's just a matter of
We're
we'll
ready.
keep we're
when it
ready,
comes.
and
Yeah.
we know what our criteria are for if that pops up.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, next item of discussion, Callahan House membership program.
Yeah, and I'm thinking I should have included that in the packet, but the idea was that everybody took home the last packet and wanted to follow up with that this month if there were any input changes, whatever, or I don't know if we want to table it for next month.
Well, I have at least one thing that maybe we can act on today.
Okay.
And the framework does look very nice. I know that the big thing was we were supposed to avoid using friends.
Right.
And so what should we name it? So I was looking through some options, and the one that just seemed spot on was patrons of the Callahan House.
Oh,
Oh, that's
I kind of like
nice.
that.
Yeah, because a patron is a group, a person or group that supports an activity or organization, especially by giving money. It's also known as a supporter or donor, a guardian or special protector of a person, place, or profession. And then it's got some really cool historic root to the word. The earliest known use of the noun patron is in the Middle English period from 1150 to 1500. And the earliest evidence for patron is usually found around 1300 in life and martyrdom of Thomas Becket. So it's just some fun
And it
history.
kind of fits the
It kind of
Callahan
fits the
House.
history, and yes,
Yeah.
patrons. It's just
Yeah.
It's a little more.
it's eloquent.
It is elegant.
It's eloquent. And so I thought, at the very least, maybe we could consider that name.
Yeah, that's,
I like it.
yeah, that's
And
something
it
worth
just sounds
considering for sure.
patrons of the Callahan
Okay.
House.
That's gonna be hard to hear.
You can put that in as working
Working
idea.
title, yeah.
Yeah, working title.
Great.
But shall we table the rest of it?
Oh, yeah, I think it's fine to
Yeah.
table the rest,
It's
and
not,
maybe come back
again, a
to
critical
this
issue.
next, yeah. But at least, that's the name we can,
All right,
patrons of the Callahan.
okay.
For, if we table it for April, does this need to be included in the packet?
It's helpful
Okay.
because I think, I keep mine, but I bring
Yeah,
it
I've got
back
mine.
in my book. But I think it's helpful for people to just
Yeah.
kind of have it right on hand in the packet.
Sounds good.
Any other comments on that? Okay, let's move on to the Auto House revamp.
So I met with Kevin Murray, who is the contractor for Empire, who did the restoration work at Callahan this summer, to see about a storage unit, a period appropriate storage unit within the auto house to house the new tables and chairs. And his idea was or his thought is that the small unit that's like back in the kitchenette bathroom area is probably original to the building based on hardware. It also matches the like sort of understair, I want to call it a Harry Potter closet, understair closet in the basement in terms of the look and the hardware and the wood panels used and whatnot, so that's likely an original cabinet. So emulating that to build the storage for the tables and chairs in that sort of just open space in the auto house is the first idea, I guess. So he came and took some measurements and whatnot and is working on a quote for that. The other thought about it is potentially removing the existing cabinetry, which is not original to the space, is not really period appropriate and also doesn't really serve a whole lot of helpful function for us. So basically, potentially replacing that with something that is period appropriate, shows a little bit of more of the history of the space and is more functional for our purposes. So
Interesting.
that's
Will he have some potential drawing or
Certainly.
proposals for next month's meeting?
unlikely.
Unlikely.
I would say, just
Yes.
based on.
Nice try, Karen.
let's
He
just got
did
the
say-
win.
no,
of
for
the-
sure.
So.
He
but
did say that
maybe-
they're very busy, and since this isn't necessarily a priority situation, I'm hoping that it maybe could be rolling by the end of summer.
Okay,
Right.
that just gives us an
Realistically.
idea
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
As
the
long,
win.
it is,
So-
it's in process.
Yeah,
Well,
but he
he moves
was.
at his own pace.
That's fine.
Yes, very much
okay.
so. So
Oh,
I'll
that's
have to stay on it. But he was, excited about the project. Felt like it was a good, fit for us, and
Right.
so
Yeah,
So
and if
that's-
he's interested, it'll,
yeah,
Yeah.
eventually.
great.
That's
So.
good. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
That's fun.
And along those lines, it's not directly related to the Auto House, but he's also working on a quote or finding someone that can help us to restore the dining room set. The table underneath needs some repair work. Needs re-leathered and set. And there are 2 chapters of Questers that are interested in donating to this specific project.
Wonderful.
I think that was. Yeah, he was here the other day, kind of looking at some things.
Yeah.
So, some upcoming ideas for other potential preservation projects, with a new grant,
Did you say he would be looking, to see if some other vendor? would do it?
They don't do furniture restoration, but because of his connections,
Okay.
in the restoration preservation world, he's kind of
Okay.
helping to find some potential vendors that would be good for that.
Great. Yeah, he's got connections.
He does, yeah. So, and then they're still kind of finishing up some, the wall in here got finished, the ceiling here, they're still working on some of the upstairs items, the light in the wall,
Whatever you call it.
yeah, and the repair to the wall, the hallway walls. So
Okay.
that's still kind of ongoing, but
Great.
just a general update on all that.
Question then, so about the idea of moving forward, purchasing tables and chairs and things, is that on hold until we have that space available to put them there?
Tables and chairs are that's finalized.
Where are they being stored?
They're in there.
Oh,
They're there.
They're
okay,
there.
okay,
They're here. They're there.
okay.
So
It's a
yeah,
strange
and for
house.
now, there's
Yeah, well,
luckily that space, so they all come on dollies. And luckily there's actually that big space in there right now because I kind of cleared some things around, and we have those shades. So that's the plan until
Right.
he does that. And luckily, it's really only ever used as the groom's cottage. And
Right.
everybody that I've brought to tour that space is like, yeah, we don't care. So,
They're guys.
Yeah, we'll make it look, the way that it needs to look to be appropriate for that space. But
Just
be
just
decorated.
wasn't curious about.
yeah, I pulled the trigger on that. So.
Okay, great.
All right,
Good for you. Good
moving
job.
on.
Good job. Moving on.
And we did talk to, I got information from catering, from our rentals company, and just people within the industry to suggest what the proper products were to get. So I feel really good about what we got in.
Excellent. Good. Good job, Brittany.
Yes.
It will help us get a lot more return on
Yeah.
weddings and events. So.
Right. Exactly. Excellent. Okay, now we can talk about the club selection criteria.
Okay, so since you all now have another club affair meeting, do you want this task meeting? It won't be able to happen before your next club affair meeting. Anyway, it's okay because we just now need to schedule a task meeting, which is what we said last month we would do in this month's meetings, schedule that task meeting. Who would like to participate in that?
I'll do that
Andy
too.
and Cindy?
Well, then excellent.
Okay.
And I think Maureen
I think she was interested.
said she
Yes.
was interested too. I have no idea about her calendar, but let's do the best we can with who we have here at the table right now. I'm thinking, actually, your next meeting is going to be the 28th.
Correct.
Ah, it can happen before then.
Yeah.
So, how about, I just stay away from Wednesdays because that's easier on the house.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only day that the house is, unless it's the 5th Wednesday of the month. in the months that exists. Otherwise, it's in use most of the day on Wednesdays.
Okay. Well then, how about we look at, is it possible for people to meet on Friday the 22nd?
I have a kids camp day.
I'm out of office, so the house won't be, but y'all can meet
Those two.
elsewhere.
Thursday the 21st, is that
I'm available.
an option?
Yeah, I'm out of office the 21st and 22nd.
Okay.
So again, I mean,
You could meet
if you want to meet
someplace
somewhere
else.
else, you're
So
welcome
the
to,
night-
but
yeah,
nobody's gonna be here at the
someplace
house.
No, so then the 19th is, are you here?
The 19th is good. Let me just look at. Yeah, 19th is good.
Good for me too.
And are we more interested in morning or afternoon?
Either for me.
The
Actually,
house is open all day, so.
late morning on is good for me.
Late morning, like 10? Is that-
Yes.
Because, is that late morning?
Yeah.
Okay, so Candy, how's
It
that?
works.
All right,
I'll make it work.
all right then,
Yeah,
next Tuesday, the 19th at
noonish.
10 here.
Okay, I'll send an invite for 10 to noonish.
Yes.
Obviously,
That'd be
if
great.
it goes longer, that's fine. And this is the club selection criteria committee.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'll send that out to everybody.
Yes,
Yes.
please, everyone is invited.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving right along, the oven safety check. What did they have to?
We did get someone in for that. The manufacturer sent out
Right.
someone to check that and all is clear and all is well. We also had Excel come back out and give the direct oven a check also, so it's been approved by several different people that it is all
Professionals.
up to snuff.
The hood is clean and
Yeah.
all as well.
And the hood, maintenance of the hood has been added to the annual maintenance list.
That's what
Perfect.
Maureen's biggest
Yeah.
issue was with that.
And then one last question, did we get a second fire extinguisher or just?
Well, we did not, but we can talk to the safety committee, they're actually meeting here in April, I think.
Just the, that's, I mean, 6 open flames in a historic home is a little
It's just
unsettling
a
to me.
little.
But if
little
this is
bit.
what we've got to deal with, then let's just
Right.
be prepared as much as we can be. And if that means a second fire extinguisher, that's not too much to ask.
Yeah, we can, I'll talk to the safety committee about that.
Big blocks of baking soda or something.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can do.
Okay, any other questions on that item? Moving on to the lace window balances and the library drapes.
Yeah.
Can we get rid of this?
So I know we were gonna
Yeah,
wait
that
to
was-
take those off, but
that
I
looks
do have some
really good.
information about it. But the reason that I went ahead and took them down is because we had, Longmont Public Media was here last week shooting some scenes for a virtual venue tour. So this is completely separate from the updated video project. This is, the idea of this is a venue tour, for those that are looking to get married or host an event here. So separate from that project, but, they were able to move forward quickly with that. And so I took them down because they were shooting video of
For
the
you.
house.
Yes.
It's
Nice.
excellent.
It
I mean, it looks great.
It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
It's
I
so
think-
nice to be able to see that beauty from
Yeah.
inside the
Yeah.
house.
Yeah, I think it aesthetically it's great. I also did talk to Kevin from Empire about, I also talked to the Historic Preservation Committee, Commission and Cleve from,
District color.
thank you, suggestions about what to do for UV protection of the interior of the home. And the general consensus was a film on the storm windows.
Yes.
So Kevin is looking for someone to do that for us. I guess
I know
Most-
what company,
Great.
because I had it done on the windows.
that would be wonderful if you could send me that information.
Yes.
His glass person, historic restoration glass person, actually suggested an auto company.
Oh, no, there's
Which-
a professional wood company that does just
Great.
windows.
Okay, yeah, if you could send me that,
I
that
will
would be
email that to you.
fantastic, because Kevin is looking, but that could take some time.
Right.
And instead
We're
of
maybe more
putting the
motivated.
balances back up, if you have
Right.
a company, that would be great to just, I think, move forward with that. And we wanna make sure to get, a clear film that lasts well and
Right.
Sorry, I missed the part about what the function does. Is it for glare or privacy?
UV protection,
UV protection.
for the interior of the home.
Okay.
So yeah, that would be great,
Excellent.
because in some basic Googling, I was like.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay,
And how about the drapes?
perfect. I didn't do anything with those, I didn't
Can
know.
we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I think I wanted to get
Because-
the consensus about those.
Because while I don't think it would be a good idea to completely remove them, I think reducing them is a good idea.
So that they're more decorative.
It is so that, yes, that they're more decorative, kind of like something like what you would see in a movie theater back in the day, when they would put those beautiful balances up that just kind of framed the screen. I think that would be appropriate rather than complete removal. Let's just reduce them.
So
And
you,
the
so
ones
taking
in
the
the
heavy
ones.
ones,
They're the heavy ones in the library.
In the
I mean, we can
library.
walk
Next
in,
room.
we can walk in there.
using the existing
look,
fabric and.
Yes,
Like-
use exactly what's already there.
Okay.
Just reduce.
Reduce the size of it.
And
Leslie,
I
what
can
do you
ask
use?
you, huh?
Leslie, what do you
Yes,
think
and I
works?
can ask, I was just gonna say, I can ask if I can ask Leslie if she would be willing to help us in that process. I think that she would probably appreciate
That'd be
that,
great if she would.
if that's okay with
Who's
everyone,
Leslie?
because Leslie
Previous
Boynton was,
House
the house
manager
manager.
before Kathy.
yes,
Okay.
and for many years, for 11 years, and she did a lot of work in the house, and one of the big projects she did was she made those
Made
drapes.
those drapes.
Oh.
And they're wonderful,
They're
they're period
wonderful, they're
appropriate and
period appropriate, they're beautiful,
everything, but.
excellent fabric,
But there's a lot.
but yes, so if it's okay, I'd like to reach out to her and ask if
And
That would
just
be
she'd be
good.
willing to
And
help
under the
us
guidance
reduce
feedback
them.
from her.
Now that the
Yes.
windows are restored, we'd like to show it more.
Yes, we want to show
Just
some
Would you
some
be,
reason.
would you be willing
And
to
we
do that?
yes,
All right,
because
thanks,
I have,
Karen.
yeah,
Got
friendship
a
with her.
relationship.
Yeah,
Yes.
and she would appreciate that rather than us just,
Doing it.
yes, which I think is the right thing to do.
Okay. Anything else on old business? Any of those items? Are we good? And we're moving to new business, future restoration and preservation.
So I think our objective is that we're going to look at the list and identify the items that we would like done
More
sooner rather than later. And some might already be in the works, such as
The
the,
tuck pointing, I think is the big.
well, that's the big item, but I'm not talking about,
That's-
along with the big item, which is already a done thing, because you have submitted it for the,
Oh, for like 3
CIP.
years already.
okay, so is, CIP is, the capital improvement program projects and through the city of Longmont. And so for us to have funding from the city for any project, that has to be submitted to the city, and the city decides how they're going to allocate their funding for capital improvement projects. So what is currently submitted, and it's due every October for the next year, is that right, to the city?
In the next month.
Oh, it's due, okay, so in
Yeah,
April,
I have to submit
we submit
those.
for
It's-
2025.
It's April 20th or so, I have to put them all into the system, something like that,
Okay,
by end of April, so. If you have, so the bottom line right now is if there are things that, and these are larger projects, so these are,
capital projects.
yeah, certainly over $10,000, that would even be pretty low. These are things we're looking at that would be really more $50,000 plus sorts of things. And exceptions, it just depends on the thing. Then I can put them in with the idea, frankly, that we know they won't be approved in year 1 or year 2, but they're in there. And so as things become more pressing, they've already been in there, they've already been seen, it's easier. And this is just how it works. It generally will take a number of years to get a project through. And the next big one that we know this house needs is the pointing of the mortar, so, of the house. So, we just need, ideas that are, small projects, we generally find a way to pay for those, like the ones we were just talking about. But-
right.
So yeah, bigger ideas. And then we've also talked about the fact that having those within the city aid us in the quest for grants.
Yes, because
If we have them and already submitted, then those are things we can put in grant requests
Right.
that say we have already requested this of the city.
Yes. Did not have
It's a part of,
funding.
yeah, did not have funding.
And it's part of that process because it proves that we've been trying to accomplish the goal.
Exactly.
And that's why
Yeah.
we need the assistance.
Yeah.
So I don't know, did everyone bring your list?
I did
Another
not.
thing that would be helpful to have in the
Yeah.
packet going forward. I mean, everyone has it from when the annual report was presented back in January. But it is a
We'll put it in. for April.
single page, yeah, it is a single page list. You know, remember, things like that, that we keep. And I think this is the most accurate, the most up-to-date one, right, that you put
Yeah,
in the
this is-
January report. Yeah, and so, I think just coming up with, all right, repointing the house was the big budget item. I don't know what amount you submitted, and I don't know how you got that amount.
That was from Kathy, and we updated it, we add money to it every year because it's
Every
in
year.
the $200,000 range.
Can we get a general idea from, say, the contractor who did all the restoration work recently? Have them just kind of take a peek and give us an updated ballpark?
He might have even said that our number was, he thought the number was reasonable, but
Okay.
check
I'll
back.
ask
I
him.
feel like that conversation actually may have happened a year ago, but
And when he was just here, he was kind of looking at some of the details again,
Yeah.
so he probably has it fresh.
yeah.
Are you
Yes.
saying for the point?
Yes.
Yeah, for repointing the house and the auto house, that mortar, it just, where it needs to be
It's very
replaced.
expensive.
Yes, it is, but to
It's
have
very cheap.
as accurate and current estimate as possible would be most helpful. So that would be the big ticket item that we would submit to the city.
Did you say 200K, Ben, was the last?
I don't
week?
remember, so don't quote me.
I was gonna say.
But
It's
it's around that.
Okay.
Did you say, besides the auto house, it's the border of this house or it's the house?
It's the
So,
brick.
so.
It's
when
It's
you-
all
The
the brick.
mortar
Where
and
you
the
see
brick.
the,
Right, but I mean on the house.
yeah,
Yeah.
anywhere where you
House
see
and
brick,
auto house.
Yeah.
exterior,
Okay.
the mortar.
The mortar.
Yep, I know what that means.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so when you said mortar before, I heard mortar.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Border.
Okay. Okay.
That's an easy one.
So then that's our submission for CIP.
That's going in no matter what. It
Perfect,
will
yeah.
be.
So
So
we'll
we
leave
could
it.
So if there's
Yeah.
something
Something
else we
additional.
want, is there anything else we want to put in? I mean, sometimes I'll get a yes, put it in, and sometimes I'll get a no, don't bother sort of thing, but is there anything else that we want to put in at this time? And we could have that idea by the next meeting,
Okay.
so we have a little bit of time on that. It's very easy to add something to those sorts of lists, it doesn't get real complicated, the explanation is very simple, so.
And are you saying anything under 50,000, we should
That's
probably
a,
not submit? to
probably
this?
not, but if it's 45,000, then
Okay,
yeah, at least let me send
Give it a try.
send up the flagpole.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you
See.
never know, they might
Yeah.
fund something smaller, because that's the
then what-
extra change they've
And
got.
then we have one of our other opportunities is in ongoing maintenance, and we decide on those dollars 5 years in advance. It's another fund, and those projects can be the 1,000 to 20,000, $30,000 sort of range. And we look at those for 5 years in advance. However, there's some flexibility in those dollars as the city recognizes that deciding on that we need to replace this treadmill 5 years from now, sometimes it's not that treadmill, sometimes it's this treadmill, or sometimes it's this elliptical. So they recognize, so we are actually able to move those dollars around, and sometimes we can move things up in lieu of some other things. So there are other opportunities. So if there's something we want to put in, then now is the time to decide what we want to show. That would be for, what, 2029 is what we're going to be deciding. And that I need in the next month.
With the like stained glass and the project on the stairway,
Might just pay for it.
Okay.
We have some money now, so
yeah, those might
for
be-
stuff like that,
Okay.
for those smaller things. I want to move forward with those, because
Yeah.
they're things we've already been thinking about, and
Okay.
they're in
I didn't know how big
the
the project, the
$5,000
stairway
range.
thing
And
was.
we have
Okay.
some money right now for projects. We don't have as money for staff, but that's.
Details.
So-
Isn't it always the
Okay.
case?
Well, the only thing I can think of just off the top of my head is the landscaping issue. But
We're
that's,
working on grass. That one I'm making
Are you?
happen. So if
Okay.
there's other,
Good.
we feel like there's a year-to-year thing for that.
Okay.
And that's not our budget either.
Okay.
So
It's
if we're talking
parks,
about,
it's parks.
yeah,
Parks,
so if we're
yeah.
talking about,
With parks, yeah.
if we were restoring the statue, that would be one thing.
right,
But as far as the upkeep and how we do that and how we go about that, that's really more about parks and trying to
Okay.
work with them. And I've also got golf involved as far as the grass, because
Right.
I can.
right,
So-
because I can, okay, good.
So,
Excellent.
So the
yeah, so it's really,
restoration is, like that Ben is working on is,
oh, I don't know. I mean, I thought we had a good meeting, so,
yeah,
you know.
but
that's
that
the
would be
thing.
separate from
Well,
this idea.
well, there's restoration, there's restoration. So if you're talking about just kind of making sure the mechanicals are redone and stuff like that, I would say that's that.
Yeah,
If we're talking about refurbishing or
The
possibly
cement.
replacing it or something like that, then that would be something that we would do, or work very closely with them, so.
okay,
And that's not what we're talking about, so that's just an example.
okay.
In doing the inventory, there was a picture that showed the Callahan House with green striped awnings on the outside. It's when we were talking about the UV effect on the interior of the house. That thought kind of popped into our minds that at some point maybe restoration with the awnings might be kind of fun. So
Were they cloth based?
I assume they're
I think they were-
canvas.
Canvas probably, yeah.
No, maybe they
The
were
city
metal
is,
like the
we are
one here.
reluctant to put canvas things up in general because of the maintenance, because of the issues we've had with them, so I'll just tell you that. I'm not saying no to something
Well, I mean,
like that, for
yeah,
sure.
it could be a different.
This is a different setting, but I just want to let you know that
Yeah.
that's something that
It just popped in my
generally
head that
not
we
fans of
saw that.
because of their struggle.
Yeah,
So not necessarily canvas, but just any kind of
Yeah,
cloth.
yeah.
The city is reluctant to.
Anything that's a
doing
cloth
because of
that's
the
not,
maintenance.
anything that's not permanent.
the metal one out back, I don't know if maybe they were
And I've seen metal versions.
metal or if that was.
We have a
that.
tour going on?
Whole little group.
I was gonna ask
Looks
about the
like you're-
gazebo too, is that in good shape? Or is that
As
needed?
far as I know,
I think it's in pretty good shape.
yeah.
And painted.
But they were-
Is there anything else on there you're seeing that sticks out to you?
I
I
think,
don't want this to be
I think the only thing that might have been a bigger ticket item was getting electricity to the gazebo because during, which is a bigger ticket item.
Yeah,
Um,
that would be.
Because right now it's a matter of the string extension cords out in the property to light it up, which is really not
Oh,
a
this
great
is electricity to the outside
But
area.
that wouldn't
or-
be a capital, but that would be a
It's-
PDF item, so.
Yeah.
Okay,
We're
because
working on,
okay,
yeah,
just yeah, that was
Can
it.
you talk to Bros about that? Bros Electric?
Okay.
And let's get a cost on that, that might be one. That
not
sounds like
gonna
a
be
prime one
45.
for the other fund.
Are you talking about electricity to gazebo and areas?
Yeah.
Okay.
It would have been great to have done it in conjunction with the right of way.
oh,
Oh,
we
we
did
did
not-
that.
But we did not get that, we did not get that.
It's not-
Yeah,
The head space wasn't, yes, that's the
Yeah,
first
anyway,
time, would be the last.
But any other big, what else on this list is a really big ticket item that is like a 45,000 and up
what about
kind of
the
item?
alarm system situation?
That would still not.
That's not, okay,
That would be again
PB
PB
145, yeah, okay.
That's the name of the other fund.
Well, we just.
That's a nice
Bigger
position
stuff,
to be in.
yeah.
So
Having
And
just
Rose
done
is
a
what?
lot, yeah.
Bros Electric
Company?
vendor.
BRO.
ES, EROES.
Okay.
So then that's pretty much the only item that's going in, at least this
Come
year.
on, there.
That's great,
And
that's
that's,
so fun.
that's, you know, we really want to focus on the planting and trying to,
Okay, so.
it was
Yeah,
actually
that's
discussed.
good.
Maybe if
But
that's
as
the only
long
thing,
as-
they'll be more inclined to push
Yes.
it through.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and if
Just
you
have
have
to
an
look at
extra,
what you need.
an extra word from Kevin that
Update
it's
the.
really getting worse. It
Okay.
needs to be addressed in X amount of time, then that's something when I have an opportunity to sit down with the city manager and everybody else, it's a very long meeting. Bring those things up as to why that's currently critical.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
not gonna get better.
What I
by
brought
itself.
up was, yeah, that's what I said last year was,
Yeah.
look, it's not
There are gaping
failing, but
holes.
it is, there are parts that absolutely should be addressed right now, and
Yes.
eventually we will have failure.
Yeah,
This has to be done.
right.
And it was heard, so.
Okay.
So
All
along
right.
with the
That's the important
updated value or the cost to do that would then be.
Timeline of
Yes,
when.
his suggested timeline or, and urgency, level of urgency, and maybe if just coming directly from that
Anything
expert.
can-
Yeah.
From a
can-
professional,
Yes.
yes.
Coming directly from that expert in
Mhm.
that field would be helpful.
And then depending on what's said, you know, that we may want to look towards a different sort of grant. You know, we can't go
Yes.
right back to the state for that, but I mean, there's other opportunities out there maybe for
Yeah.
next year.
There are.
Because we'll know in the end of August whether this particular one is approved or not, and I would say that maybe next year we can look for other opportunities.
Okay.
Because the city is definitely on board when you can cover half the cost or something. The city
Right.
always is like, yeah, let's do that.
Exactly.
That would
Money all of a
When they're
sudden
not on the
appears.
board.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, give me 60 and I'll turn it into 240.
Right, exactly. That turned out all right.
And that's what we did.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so then going through the rest of the list, not talking about CIP stuff, but, what else is on here that we can get done with whatever budget and funding that we do have? Like that brass lamp on the wall, is
Yeah.
that being restored? Is it?
Yeah.
I think about I guess,
Yeah, we've got a list of things that are ongoing, kind of with that of PB 145, that are taken from this list.
You want to put that into next month?
Yeah.
great,
What-
that'd be
Let's
really
do
good.
that.
Let's put it as an item and we'll talk
Yeah.
about things that we're planning on this
Maybe
year.
that'd be old
And then
business.
we can kind of hit what you guys think are priorities.
That would be helpful.
That'd be real helpful.
So let's do that.
If you
next
could
month.
just give us a list, Britt, that would be great.
Tell us
Okay.
what you've got on
Yeah.
here.
Some of it is
We'll check
updated
first.
and says like
Okay.
in the works, you know.
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah,
Right.
But we can.
Right,
figure it out.
okay,
That'll be
perfect.
great.
That's excellent.
Thank you.
Anything else on that? Okay, moving on. Items from staff, Ben.
I don't have anything except to say that I think it's interesting to me because I got a Park and Rec Advisory Board and then this one. And while they both can go long at times.
Yeah.
We go through 15, 20 items. We had 2 items on the entire list. for the Park
Wow.
Advisory
That's
Board.
impressive.
It was 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Oh, good.
Only have
Oh,
2 items.
wow.
Holy
Take it back.
Fourth of July.
Dear.
4th
Oh.
of July.
Oh, yeah,
access
yeah, yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
On Martin Street area and park recreation fee increase. So those were
Oh, yeah, that's a lot
Very,
of discussion.
lots of passion
Passion.
It's
I like it, a lot of passion.
and a lot of times there's a lot of park items that they actually dominate those more than we do.
Sure.
But this one was all recreation.
Wow.
But it's interesting. So there's
Yeah.
some insight.
All right.
I don't have anything additional.
All right.
Couple quick things. The Santa open house, we talked about 4 to 7:30.
Mhm.
We actually changed that to 3:30 to 7:30, so it's the same as last year.
Okay.
Just an FYI, that was kind of a little edit that got made to the timing of the Santa open house. So it'll be 3:30 to 7:30.
Okay.
And then just a quick follow-up on the cleaning projects that I mentioned last month. The city was here every Saturday in February doing a deep cleaning project, which is awesome. It kind of helps us get sort of reset to then now, as of this week, we have a new custodian on board for Callahan House, so I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
His name is Robert, and he's gonna be here twice a week for 4 hours each, so 8 hours per
Nice.
week. and he had his first shift yesterday, and just the amount of kind of like initiative that he was taking and doing a lot of things that have not been regularly getting done for a while, I'm really excited about. So
Oh, that's wonderful.
all good things.
Good recommendation.
So, and we're grateful to the. He did. He changed the light bulbs, which was really nice because I'm
Yeah.
usually up there doing them.
Right.
Because they go out in this
Right.
room, they just go out constantly for whatever reason. But yeah, and he was high dusting and just doing a lot of great stuff. So excited to have somebody here. And he's going to be dedicated to Callahan House, Sandstone, and somewhere else.
Centennial Pool.
Centennial Pool. Okay.
Well, this is great.
So yeah,
Yeah.
we're really excited about that. Just having someone help with that, and
Yeah, that's fabulous.
so
Yeah, the city's gone through a large change in how custodial is being done.
That's so good.
Yeah, there are some good and additional folks. This year, it's actually just additional staff members, which we've asked for a long time. But the way we're going about things is a little bit different with the manager and custodial. There's pluses and minuses, but overall, that somebody's spending time specifically trying to take care of that group as a whole is a good thing.
That's really good.
so yeah.
They're more important than I am, that's for sure.
That's all I got.
That's it.
Thanks.
Okay, any items from the board?
I have a few items.
Of course you do, Karen.
Well, I'll get to I'll save the best for last because
Okay.
that's the historian's brief that we're gonna do monthly, because that's
Okay.
fun.
Right.
But something that's kind of fun to go to annually is the Stephen H. Hart Awards celebration for historic preservation, and it's at History Colorado. The 2024 celebration is going to be held April 16th from 5 to 8 p.m. at History Colorado down in Denver. So I'm planning to go to that again. I went last year. Just is so fun to see all of the projects that they highlight from that have been recently completed. So if anyone's interested in going to that, you can look at History Colorado's website or call me or email and I'll send you the link or whatever.
What's the name for that event? Stephen H.
It is called the 2024 Stephen, STEPHEN
Okay,
H, no initial, Hart, HART,
okay.
Awards Celebration for Historic Preservation. And they usually pick out 4 or 5 projects that History Colorado has funded and come to completion. And we have.
Do we know who they're highlighting?
I don't know yet. I haven't looked in to see yet, but I just saw that.
But so they announce it ahead of time.
Yes,
So we
yeah,
would know
yeah,
if we
yeah.
were chosen.
Yes, they would reach out to you and say, hey, can we go ahead and highlight it?
Okay.
So yes,
Cool.
but I'm hoping that in future years that we
Yeah.
can be, because it's not just the ones they, from the year prior, but
Yeah.
so they might be able to pull us in the next year or something.
Cool.
But that also leads to the reason why I was asking too. Did we get the final report and conclusion and everything back to History Colorado? Because it includes all of the things that we promised in the grant application process. Yeah. It's like, yes, we're going to show you take before, during, and after pictures. We're going to provide all of this,
Yeah, Carrie Sheehan,
documentation.
who was managing that project of city facilities manager, completed that and sent it back to Ann, so they do have that.
Good, because that's in part, they pull
That's
from
what they use.
their resources are, what can we show and highlight?
Yeah, that got all submitted and finalized and closed out, and so yeah.
Did we get to see the final report? Does the board get to see?
I'm sure we
the
could.
final thing that
I'll
Carrie
ask-
put together
I'll
for us?
ask her
I would
for it. I
appreciate
haven't
that.
seen it,
Fun
I
to see.
mean, even if it's just something sent out to the board and it's not a board meeting agenda
but I can.
Yeah.
thing, but it just
Be
something so we
interesting.
can see.
Yeah.
It would be
Yeah.
nice.
Sure.
So that's something that's coming up. That's kind of interesting and fun. Let me talk about the history brief. Historian's brief. All right, everyone likes to talk about how Alice liked to drive and that she was, a woman ahead of her time. However, sometimes I hear people say that she was a poor driver, she was a bad driver because she had an accident. But I think it's really important that we dispel that myth and clarify that she actually was a very good driver. So there's a piece of history from the Times Caller, from the Ledger at the time. I can confirm which one it was, but they wrote an article in there saying, and I'll read it so you can hear it for yourself. The first, let's see. So this is about the Pierce Arrow land lake.
Yes.
So the first of the two that was purchased was purchased in April of 1908, and this is quote out of the article. It was a magnificent machine, said to be the most expensive in northern Colorado. One reporter with tongue-in-cheek said it was, quote, a crackerjack, and has all of the newfangled dingbats for climbing trees and jumping irrigation ditches. So that said, a few months later, after the April 1908, Alice took 6 of her friends for a drive. As she turned the corner from the Marshall Farm Road onto Main Street, a wheel struck the curb and the car overturned. Due to the heavy weight of the vehicle, no one was seriously injured, and even the car suffered damage only to the limousine top and the wheel that caused the accident. And then later that summer is when Tom replaced that one with a brand new one, exact duplicate of the damaged one. So just a few months later, he replaced it entirely. But just so you all know, don't let anyone say that she was a poor driver. That's not the case at all. It was a simple accident, and that's how it happened, and that's where it happened. And there was never any other article or any piece of history that says she had any other accident.
So think about the road that she
Think
was
about
driving.
exactly.
Yeah.
Think about the road that she was driving on. Think
It
about
was a very
And those
tiny
little
little
skinny
mistake,
tires.
but it had a big consequence that
Yes.
made everybody
Right.
Yes.
focus on it.
so,
Yeah.
just something to
Thank you,
be
Karen.
aware of.
That's really interesting.
For history's
I
sake.
enjoy that part.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, moving on to future agenda items.
I did have a couple things to mention.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
One of them, across the street here, the house that was renovated a few years ago, she has it open on the weekends, and you can go through there. Anybody been in there yet?
Yes, and it's awesome. I went this weekend. It was
Oh my
Did you?
yeah.
It is full. It's like the flea market on steroids.
Four floors.
I mean,
Stuff.
unbelievable. But
Yeah.
just to see the house
is.
itself is awesome.
Yeah.
It is a phenomenal place.
Found a 1977 copy of the Silmarillion that I was really excited about.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
She's gonna do bed and breakfast during the summer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So she
great.
packs all this stuff up and puts it somewhere. I don't know where,
What?
but it's a place to go visit. For
I
sure.
actually got some
Wow.
cards from her to give to clients that might be interested in having, a wedding here and then staying, because I think it sleeps like 12 or 14
Yeah,
people or
yeah.
something.
No kidding. Wow.
So,
And then speaking of weddings, there was a photograph upstairs of a couple out by the fountain, and the fountain, you could tell, was really pretty new because it was really white and pristine.
I saw that.
And I think it was like early 70s maybe.
Looked like
No name on the photograph, it's about this big. But could it be used in some way with the e-blasts that we send out? Who is this mystery couple? Or use it in connection with your wedding advertisements or whatever, and see if somebody can come forward and identify who this mystery couple is or
That's a
something.
nice
So,
idea.
anyway,
Yeah,
it's kind of a
I
fun
like
little
that.
photo.
Yeah.
So.
I like that. That'd be fun.
Is there
It's
any
interesting.
concern about putting out a photo without
Oh, people
Permission?
without their permission,
permissions?
yeah.
Could be, I don't know.
Yeah.
Check with Sue Ellen.
Well, that's how you find out who they are, right?
Right.
In this case, probably not.
Yeah.
It's been used.
Just saying.
Yeah, can you tell us, now that you've all seen it, can you
If
tell
it's
us who
used
they are so
somewhere
we can
Right.
get their permission?
Exactly. There you go. That's
I was gonna say, if it's been used somewhere before, then the permissions have been given, and it's just, it's just sharing of
It
something
could
that's
be
already
that
been published.
It's already
but-
been posted in public here. So if it's already been posted in public, then,
I've never seen it.
anyway, just confirm with Sue Ellen.
Okay.
I would say that should
Yeah,
be
confirm this, Val.
That's all.
I forgot, when I said I had 3 things and I forgot about the best, the really fun last one. Cindy, would you mind, or thank you. This was nice. Brittany just gave this to me this morning. It came from EDK. And it's a thank you for the presentation at the PEO Annual Founders Day meeting. Basically, she just wanted to thank us for a wonderful program and such great information and history lesson to receive, and it feels good to know about an asset that we have here in Longmont. So that was a beautiful thank you card, and in it they included a very nice donation, $100 donation.
Wow.
Very nice.
So to Callahan House, which is
Very
just a
nice.
beautiful thank you. So I wanted to acknowledge that too. That was the 3rd thing that I.
Thank you. Yes.
Sorry.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, anybody else? Next item is future agenda items.
Maybe add selecting a date for the annual past and present board members team, just onto a future agenda item that we need to do that.
Absolutely. Brittany's got it.
Select a date for what?
The annual past and present board members team.
For the annual tea that we do.
Fall date again.
I think that might work best.
Yeah,
It's
it
to work
seems like
nicely
it works
because, then we can capture the activity from the year and share that with everyone at that time.
Anything else? Okay, we'll entertain adjournment.
Let's see, check
Yeah,
time. What
what
time is
is it?
10:32.
10:32.
Okay.
I move we dismiss.
I second. Can I do that?
Sure.
Slightly non-traditional.
Anybody
but you can.
agree?
It's
Right.
technically,
Right.
yes.
Yes.
Not traditional,
Yes.
yes, but technically, yes.
You know, vote.
Yeah, and a vote. Anybody want to disagree? Okay,
We're all in agreement.
well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
When is that house open?
What are they talking about?
Wednesday through Saturday from